and welcome to the Happiest Hour. I'm Paula Devine, and today I am joined by artist, creator, recovery advocate Mel Sherrygate. Mel uses art as a way to express healing, hope, and transformation. And today we're talking about how creativity and recovery can completely reshape a life. Mel, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
My pleasure. So, for those who haven't found your work yet, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, and maybe a little about your family.
So, I'm from Brazil South. It's a city called Curitiba. It's not everybody that knows it. So, when I was younger, like on my 20s, I was a makeup artist and I was really like a party girl, but it was functional and I would go out a lot and work a lot. And then I went to Ireland when I met my husband, and I was kind of tired of the party. I wanted to have a family and get married. And so we found each other and we married like 6 months after we met.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, he met my family on my honeymoon because he said, "Where are we going to the honeymoon?" I said, "Maybe we should go to Brazil so you can meet my family." So we did, and everybody loved him. And we've been together for 16 years. Then we used to drink, like, I'm going to talk about the art. The art came when we moved to Mozambique because of his work. And then suddenly I was there. I didn't have my daughter yet, and I had nothing to do. And I said, I used to paint when I was younger. Said, I'm going to start painting again. So I started, and then it became like a thing. I love it. And I would paint like the whole day. I would guess myself, like, what I'm doing, like painting what, for who, because it was something just for me. And then I started to study about art and art history. And then I fell in love completely. And then when I had my daughter, I started to do some digital work because it was easier with her to work on the computer. I still do it, a lot of prints, and I sell sometimes prints to some brands. But what I really like is to draw, to paint. And so everything was going okay. We drink every day, me and my husband, but it was like that normal happy hour drinking. I got pregnant and I stopped drinking. So I have been sober for some times, but it was always something that it would be for a reason like, oh, I want to lose weight. I want to look better. It was not for the right reasons. So we moved to Dominican Republic, and I was working a lot. And then I had my daughter, and my husband was working all day. We had our happy hour every day, but then I started to see that I was like drinking maybe a little bit more. And then little by little, I start drinking before him, or sometimes hide a bottle of wine or something like that. And then it started to get to be a problem. But I was still in denial, like, no, it's not. It's okay. And one thing that I think is important is that I could not stand the thought of not drinking. It was not a possibility. It was not possible for me, because it became such a stress relief. And here in Portugal, wine is like water. It's culture.
Yeah.
And
They say it's cheaper than water in some European countries.
yes, it is cheaper than water.
And how long did that go on for, that you were really struggling, or was, it always starts out social, fun, a little happy hour.
Yeah, everybody drinks, and there was no possible way that you would have like a gathering without drinking. Just was not an option. And so then my father died, and I was in Dominican Republic. He was in Brazil. We have to like run to get the first flight we could to go to the funeral. And I remember that in the airport, I bought a bottle of wine and hid it in my backpack. And so I was drinking during the flight. And then when we got to the funeral, I was not drunk, but I was a little numb. And And I think everybody was expecting me to be like, oh my God, crying really bad because we were so close. But actually, I went to that path of it was better for him. He was suffering. So he was diabetic and he was like really unhappy with his life. So I went to this path of was better for him. And I didn't deal at all with the grief and nothing. And then we went to Germany, actually. Then we moved to Germany. It got really bad. Then I was already drinking during the day, and then my body needed the alcohol. So then it started to become really a disease, but I couldn't get out. Then I said to my mom was with us in Germany. And then I told my mom and my husband that I would go to Brazil to go like to a spa with a friend. So to try to get better. And like a spa would, help in any way, but in my mind, it was. So I went to Brazil by myself, and then I stayed in my mom's house by myself. Of course, I was just drinking. And I have a friend, my best friend, since, I don't know, 30 years ago. And he is an addict, but he's in cocaine, and he's 5 years sober now. And then he saw that I was not good. Like I was drinking all the time in the apartment. He was in rehab there. And then I think he spoke to my family. I didn't want to go to the rehab at all, but they did like an intervention and they put me there.
So your mom and your husband were telling you that it
Yeah.
was time to stop?
Yeah. And they agreed. And my mom said to this day that was the hardest day of her life to know that they would take me kind of against my will, but it was becoming like dangerous, but I could not see that. That's the crazy thing. And one thing that is crazy for me, because like I would do anything for my daughter, I would die for her, anything, but I could not stop drinking for her. It's crazy. So I went to rehab, but it's not that I didn't take it seriously, but I could not like still envision myself like not drinking ever again. So I did the rehab. I did everything that I had to do. So I got out of the rehab. We were moving then to Mozambique again, and I relapsed and right away. And then this was the worst period of my life, really bad, because I got to a point like it was not like fun anymore or funny anymore. I was really struggling in the morning because I needed to drink. I needed my physically. I don't know how. There was a moment when I went to the supermarket I would buy wine every day. Then the woman that worked there, she held my hand and she told me, I'm praying for you. And that really struck me like, oh my God, I need to make a choice. Then I don't know how. I said to my husband, I'm coming back to rehab. So I took the plane. I don't even know how I could do that by myself, but I did. And then I went to the rehab, and then it's when everything changed.
You went back to Brazil?
To Brazil.
Yeah.
To this day, my therapy is the same as the clinic. So I do it online, and I also do the groups that they have in the clinic. So I do online the groups. I did it today. Then when I was in rehab that second time, I really saw how my life was shaping. Like I'm going to be in and out of rehab and I'm going to lose my whole life. I don't know how my husband stood by me. I think he saw it was a disease, but I made everybody suffer so much. But actually, everybody suffers who loves us, but we are the one that are really, really, really suffering. And I remember like thinking, why do I deserve this? Why did I do to deserve so much pain? So this time rehab, I did it differently, but I stayed there not for much because I thought, no, I need to get out and I need to do this not by myself, but not in the same cycle of being in rehab and getting out and then coming back. And so I got out. My therapist thought it was a bad idea. It was really hard. But I got my mom to believe in me because I told her this time I'm really, really gonna do the work. And I did. But I was so afraid because everybody was against for me to get out of rehab. And I stayed in Brazil with my mom. And I remember that I was afraid that I was going to relapse, like going from the kitchen to the bedroom. I was so afraid, like when those horses, they are born and they are trying to walk. So that was me in my life. So I really took the time to start coming back to my life. Because the other times I just went right back in and all the stress and everything and didn't work. So I stayed there with my mom, did a drink. I'm going to be like 1 year now sober.
So that was almost a year ago.
Yeah. And then I can't even believe like the life I'm living now.
Yes. So tell me what's changed for you in this last year.
Everything. So when I came back here, I started very, very little by little, like being with my daughter, not going out much by myself and those kind of things because I felt safe. I thought to myself, no, I need to start living. I went back to art school, and which has been amazing. Then I met a lot of nice and persons and make friends. And then I started to do art again. And then
Why did you go back to school?
Because I needed to do something. So, like I'm going to go be with artists and be in this environment that I love. So that's why I chose to do it. And it was the best thing because I really made a lot of connections. And then I started to use both things, like art and my story and recovery, and blend those together. And then I did some classes in MoMA, the art museum, but online, like for art therapy and those kind of things. And then I started to work with that. The thing that I really changed is when I started to reach out to women like I did with you. Mm-hmm. And make interviews, and not just people who are addicts, but people who are struggling, especially women. And it's been really healing for me, and I stress relief because my problem, I think it was all this. I always felt so much anxiety that the alcohol would help me with that a little bit, then of course got much worse. And so for me, the recovery like something that I would tell someone that is trying to stop drinking or drugs or whatever, the first thing that I had to learn was to sit with myself, because I could not sit with myself. I couldn't handle myself. I hated myself so much that I needed to escape. That was my thing. People drink for different reasons, but this with therapy and everything I've learned is that I have this low self-esteem, and I didn't went after the things that I wanted in life. Then I start to apply, like in my life, what I was applying in my recovery, which is like, you're anxious today, it's okay. You do what you have to do it anyway. And I think it's Mel Robbins that she said that you don't wait to be prepared to do something. You get prepared while you're doing it. And that's what I'm doing.
That's amazing, Mel. That's incredible that you have found such an outlet in art to express yourself and get it out, because
yeah,
in our addiction and in our recovery, we keep everything inside. And I say this to women all the time. We have to get it out, talk to somebody, journal it out, walk it out, sing it out, dance it out, whatever you have to get it out. We keep so much in our head, which is really a lot of the reasons why we even drank, because we want to cut things off for a little bit.
Yes, and become the thing that, like the thing that everybody do it. So I always say that alcohol is the only drug you have to explain why you don't use it, right?
It's
It's
crazy.
the only drug. No one have to explain. I don't do cocaine. No, but alcohol, you have to explain. No, I don't drink, or, I'm an alcoholic, or whatever you want to say you're comfortable with. Today, I just say I don't drink, and that's it. But you have to explain. And it is hard still, like if you go to a wedding and everybody's drinking, and it's not even like I don't feel like drinking, because I think I found something myself that I don't need to drink anymore to have fun or to be good. But it is weird sometimes.
It is. So what would you say has been the most surprising thing in the last year that you have found?
The most surprising thing, I guess, that when I was in rehab, and then there were those people that were sober for a long time, but still going to the groups like I'm doing now. And I would look at them, and for me, it was not something that I could achieve. I didn't believe I could do that. I thought it would be so much different than what it really is. And I thought it was like one day gonna wake up and then I don't want to drink and everything's fine. And I realized that I've been doing this with my life the whole time. Like, okay, I do my art, but I don't show it anywhere. And someday someone is gonna see my art and like just ask me. And
Magically going to fall into place one day.
Yes. And now I'm doing the work, and it feels great. And I was talking to my therapist yesterday, because I changed a lot. My life changed a lot, but I changed also my appearance. I lost like a lot of weight. I don't know if it was because of the drinking or because I became more healthy. So I lost a lot of weight. I look much different. My life is completely different. I rented a studio with 2 friends. That was something that I always wanted and never did. And then I still feel like a little weird, a good weird, like what I did in 1 year being sober. But I think it's not just about quit drinking or using drugs. It's more than that, because I have been sober other times, but I was still lost.
Yeah, I can hear the gratitude in your voice.
Yeah. And now I'm not drinking, but it's not just about not drinking. It's about the whole mindset that you have to do it and to deal with. And today I'm anxious, what I'm going to do. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm not going to drink, what I'm going to do. You have to do something.
Sure.
And then you find out that you can do. And sometimes just like talking to my daughter, she's 11, she's amazing. Just talking to her, she's so wise. And I'm like, okay, I feel better now.
Yeah, they teach us so much.
Yes, and it is a stress relief. And that, I think, for me, it's trying to be in the present. It's really hard because we are always thinking. But the worst part for me, that I did a video, actually, I think it was today or yesterday, it's about the guilt. That really hit me hard. The guilt, the shame. And I was talking to my friend that I met in rehab, that the problem was not to be in rehab. It was why I needed to be in rehab, because I was not handling my life and I had to go. So I had to be taken from like society, from my life.
Yeah.
That's how bad I was, that I have to remove myself. As something positive, like if I feel guilt about something, it's because it doesn't align with I believe I should do or I think it's right. So it's a good sign that I feel guilty, because if I didn't feel guilty, then it would be weird, right?
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
So
to
I'm
forgive
trying.
ourselves and move forward and be grateful for some of the things that did happen, because it wouldn't have brought us where we are today.
Yes, exactly. And you have to accept it. It happened.
Yeah, acceptance. And I love what you said about the second time you went back to rehab and that you sat there, and I guess that was your kind of like moment of clarity is when you said, I'm going to keep coming back here. I'm going to have to keep repeating this process if I don't
Yeah.
change.
And there
That
was
is
so many.
powerful.
Yeah, yes, it's a horrible thought
Hmm.
to think that that's going to be your life. And there are so many examples on the clinic that I was that people like went like 20 times, 17 times,
Yeah.
and have to go back. I don't okay. It's I mean it's every day, but it gets easier, it gets lighter because I think your other life becomes bigger than your past.
Yeah, for
And
sure. Wow. Congratulations on your recovery. So,
think,
are you helping women currently where you are in Portugal with recovery and art? Is that something you
yes,
do in person?
yes. In person, I have like two women that I'm helping, like in person and with art and recovery, but they don't want to be like on the. They are not ready to be like on the internet, like talking about the stories yet.
Sure.
On Instagram, I'm meeting all these amazing women that are we're having the conversation and the interviews. One, she just released a book about sobriety, and I'm gonna help her to promote the book. For me, like this, actually, I always had this project on my mind that was called Whoever You Are, but it was more focused in art. And now it became something more because of my story
Hmm.
and because of recovery. So I want to help people to see life with other light. Like it's like when you put some glasses and everything's pink, then you see it pink and help to because when I feel overwhelmed or depressed or anxious, what I try to do is to remember that it's in my mind. It's not real. And so if I can reach out to someone that see life as a beautiful thing. So it's possible. You know, when you go like to a friend's house and they have like this great house, this new house, and you're like, oh my God, I hate my house. But to see that, you see, it's possible to have that house. You just have to work for it or do something about it. So it's kind of like this, like everybody wants to be happy, but you have to build that happiness, I think.
Yeah, you
You
have to
really
do the
do.
work. And we're so,
Yeah.
and
The work.
like you, I was scared of the work. I thought, oh, this is going to be so much work. I don't want to do that. And, but that's where the freedom is in the work.
Yes, and it's by sorry, it's by doing it. There's not another option. It's
No.
like if you
And
want to
it's
lose weight, you need to do the job.
right.
And
Nothing comes easy.
yeah, to reach out, I think the good side of social media is that you can reach out to everybody and you can like your Instagram can be powerful with the things that you see and the podcasts and the women talking and it can be very, very nice if you use it with a purpose,
I love that.
right?
Yeah, it's so true. That's the good side of
Yeah.
social media,
Use it in the
connections
right
and
way.
feeling not alone. And you mentioned that earlier about feeling, just lost and lonely. And it's hard when you're stuck in that place to not really know who you
Yes.
are.
And yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know. It got to a point that I really didn't know. Like, what is what the purpose for all of this? Oh, I'm just in pain. And sometimes people say when people are in addiction and you tell them you need to see the little things in life that's beautiful. But when you are so bad, you can't see.
No.
It's not like that. It's not like magical. Like, okay, now I'm gonna see that everything is good, great. No, everything is dark. And I think the people who've been to the dark side of addiction or any kind of struggle, it takes more than that to start to see beauty in life again. First, you have to deal with your traumas, or why do you see the world so bad that you need to escape?
Yeah.
Right.
And I know whatever anyone's pathway to recovery is, you hear the term spiritual malady.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. You cannot be, I don't believe that you can be connected to yourself, mind, body, and soul when you are repeatedly checking out, self-sabotaging, the anxiety, the depression, all the things that go along with our drinking. It is impossible to be spiritually connected when
No, you can't. You don't feel connect with anything. But you have to. I think first of all, it's forgive yourself, because you can't grow from being in the place of judgment and self-hate. You need to separate your addiction from yourself, because we are more than that.
Absolutely. And unfortunately,
Right.
sometimes the shame can run so deep that it is so hard to get out of that place, but it is possible. And
It
you and
is.
I are both proof that it is possible to make it to the other side and to live beautiful, full lives without this. And it's incredible. Your recovery story is beautiful. How can people find you, your art, are you starting a
So
podcast? So what's next for Mel?
yeah. So I want to start a podcast.
Okay.
And because I started to do the interviews, it's really, I think I really found myself in that. I think you, of course, can understand, to talk to other women and try to help, and not necessarily with addiction. So I have my Instagram that now I am completely like reshaping it, because it was all over the place. Then one day I would put my art, and then another day I was talking about regret, and then the other day. So I think I have a bigger message
Yeah,
to,
I think you do too. Yeah, I think you do too. And these conversations are so powerful, and they are essential into helping other women feel not alone. Just
yes,
hearing these stories change lives.
yes.
If you
And
have the platform and the tools to share that, why not? I felt like
yeah.
keeping this a secret was just creating more shame.
Yes, and I was keeping everything a secret, my art, everything. And
Yeah,
now, I'm putting myself out there more. But what I really want to do is to because I don't like to say to help women like I'm some, but to have those conversations,
sure.
and to use my story, because I never thought I would be so open about it. And what I realized, that people understand, people sometimes are feeling the same things that you are, but they are not, they are too embarrassed to tell the story. So that's why I think the forgiveness part is the most important one.
Yeah.
So
And
you
just
don't feel
being honest. Yeah. The
yeah, being
honesty,
honest.
just being honest, and not that you're helping someone, but that, well, you are, but to just be
Yeah.
a guide and be, a light in the doorway so somebody knows there's an exit.
I was hiding myself, my Instagram, when I was bad. I didn't post anything. I was just, thank God I didn't post anything. And I was afraid to come back to social media and expose myself. So I was just posting some art, some pictures of my daughter or something like that. And then, I said, no, I want to do it this right. So I did a photo shoot, and then I started to do the art again and to promote. And I was so afraid and so shy to post the photos that I did of myself. But I said, no, I'm going to post it. Yeah, I did. And Bex, it's awesome.
Oh,
And
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
It's so scary to put yourself out there. to be so vulnerable.
And people would think, who she thinks she is to be doing that, you know? And actually, we are most afraid it's about our friends and family judging but it's not for them,
Yeah.
you know? Like, it's not for them. It's to reach other people, you know? And I hate when you have 4 comments, then it's my mom. She comments in all my,
I
then,
hear you.
my God, it's my mom. It's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, coming out and doing this, I don't think people realize how much courage it takes to come on such a public platform and just say, this is what I went through, and
Yeah, and that's
but
it.
it's not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of courage, and it takes a lot of strength. And in that, I have found it to be so freeing coming out and talking about the good, the bad, all of it.
Yeah, I don't care because I think there's a time that you be suffered enough, you're punished yourself enough that there's no room for that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you just need to go to the healing process,
Yeah.
and it's possible. I think it is possible.
Absolutely. Well, I will add in the show notes your Instagram tag so people can find you. And is there
Thank you so
anything
much.
else you wanted to add before we end here?
I tell people because I know you have a lot of people, a lot of followers, of course, and some of them, like mine, are in early recovery. Some are trying to stop, and they're been in the journey for a long time. But I think for the people that are like listening to this and thinking, I could never do that because I was that person. Like I could never do what they're doing. You know, it's so beautiful. They're talking, but I'm going to,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I've been this girl like, okay, maybe sometimes I was watching and drinking.
Yeah.
Right.
I've done that. I don't need to see this. I'm going to keep scrolling.
Yeah. Like when you're eating chocolate and reading a health magazine.
It's so true. That doesn't apply to me. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day. There's hope somewhere, someday, but I'm not doing anything. So, especially to these people that really want to stop and are really suffering because I know what is to suffer from addiction. It's devastating and it's so hard to get out, but you can't. But
Yeah.
you have to do the work and reach out.
I love that. Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
Mel, I absolutely loved hearing your story. You are such a gift and
Thank
proof that recovery is possible. And this isn't just about getting sober and that it's about creating an entirely new life. Your
Yeah.
artwork is proof that healing can become something beautiful.
Yes.
And I know so many women who are listening, they're going to see themselves in your journey. So
Thank you. I'm so happy.
yes, thank you again for sharing that with us. And
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
of course, we'll talk soon. We'll keep in touch. I want to see what's next
Okay.
for you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.